Hello everybody and welcome back to Just Paint It. This is part 2 of the video that I began before on the Huntress by Creative Geeks, the Huntress. And if you remember last time I left off is we were filling in all the gaps. I like I said, I wasn't going to record the priming of it because I had to take everything outside. So this is the result of her, the fill and the priming. Not too bad, right? Alright, that's her. And also did the tigers. Try to get this guy out. Okay. I remember we had that gap in the middle. We filled all that in and then sculpt it with the putty. And that's done. Get this guy over here. I'm going to try to move these on the side while I'm not going to use these right away. Okay. This one came out okay. There was a lot of gap in there, but the fill came out pretty good. Not too bad. Okay. And then the base, remember, was cut like a T. Okay. And there. Alright. And that came out pretty good too. Not too bad. Alright. And those gaps, remember, they were huge, but you were able to fill them in. They're pretty good. I had to sand that down, and then, I primed it, and then I had to go back and sand and fix a couple of pieces in there. But, it came out pretty good. Not too bad. Alright. The gaps were huge, and it wasn't, when I put it together, it wasn't matching up with the seams and the pins and everything, so I had to play around with that a little bit to try to get it right. So the other thing that I want to show you guys is the paints that I'm going to use today is, I don't know, I've been looking at a couple of different resources for her as far as pictures from Frazetta to try to capture the likeness on it. And there's a lot of different pictures and stuff out there with different tones and different colors and blah blah blah, and you can go either way with them, and I seen a couple of guys that did that. I think Sideshow came out with a piece that looked just like this, but in a lot bigger scale. Or it's me, it could be wrong, it could be somebody else. So don't quote me on that if it was Sideshow or not. But the piece was huge, and somebody did a beautiful paint job on it, and their tone was a little bit more on the like a suntan, like a really little bit darker golden suntan color. And some of the references that I had that I was looking at, they were a little bit lighter than that, but I kind of like the way it really looked. I might go that route somewhere around there or not. I'm not sure yet, but I'm just going to put paint down and I'm just going to go with it. Now I got a couple different paints here that I'm going to use. I'm thinking about using a little bit different than what I've been using on the other videos. So I think I'm going to try to still go with the base colors with using the Pro Acro colors. But I might switch over, instead of using the Fairy Flesh set. I still might use it. Don't quote me, but I still might use these. But I'm thinking about going. I used these for flesh tones for females before, and that is the scale color. Okay, the scale color stuff. They work great on the airbrush. These colors, they work amazingly great on the airbrush. They don't need to be diluted a whole lot. They come pretty thin. But their colors for female flesh, I had a lot of success with it before, and I have a bunch of different colors here that I'm thinking about using, maybe mixing in. I'm not sure yet. Like I said, depending on where, I don't want to say I'm going to use this and that's what I'm going to use, because I like to leave that part open, because as you painting, you're going to start feeling, which way you want to go with the figure as you're putting layers down, and you might not want to use. Then you can mix your own colors and try to get the colors that you want. I got so much flesh tone colors that I probably have just about every tone in here, but I had a lot of success with these, with the scale color stuff. They got a fantasy line, and then they got their regular line, scale color, and I think one of their box sets comes with a little mix with both in there to get, I don't remember what box set this came in. I don't have that box anymore. But it was one of the flesh tones. sets. So, but these are great paints. You know, don't, like I said, don't, you know, you don't have to just settle on just one. If it works, you know, I get it. If it works, you want to stick with it, you know, it's fine. I get that. But, you know, try other stuff out there. You might like the other stuff better than what I'm showing you, or, you know, somebody else is showing you. Don't be afraid to try different things. You know, it can get expensive because the paints are not cheap, you know. But, you know, like I said to you guys, I had a lot of success with this Pro Acro for my base colors. It's extremely well. You know, I have the 3 flesh colors here. They also have a pink. I've been trying to find it, but I can't find it right away. Oh yeah, I got it here right here. They got this pale pink too that you can use for putting a little color into the cheeks and stuff like that, which works really nice. But the ones I've been using, the 3 that I've been using are these, but mostly is tan flesh, shadow flesh, and olive flesh. Okay, and I think those are the only flesh tonish colors that they have, if I'm not mistaken. And this is Monument Hobbies Pro Acro, and this is the pink, the pale pink color. Okay, all right. So very easy, very thin. You don't have to thin it down a whole lot in your cup or whatever to use it. Apologize. I got the allergies are crazy, so you're gonna hear me sneezing, you know, coughing or whatever. You know, I apologize for that. So I'm gonna start off with a tan flesh, then go maybe with a shadow flesh, and then work the other colors to blend in the tone. And still gonna use pastels like I used before. Might use pastels to highlight a little bit. You know, depends on where I'm at. So let's do this. Let's just grab, you know, the airbrush, grab the paint, mix your paint, and let's get started. Let's not dwell on it. All right, let's do it. All right, so to put down the base color, I'm going to use the Sotar 2020, and I'm going to start off with, like I said before, I'm going to use the tan flesh. I have more of this. It feels like it's starting running a little low, but goodness, I did order some more, so I have some in stock because I know I've been using it a lot, you know. So I'm going to put a few drops of the flow improver, and that's just to lubricate the needle and the paint. This way I don't get too much of a dry tip on it. Oh, you have a little Q-tip ready to go, just in case I need to clean that tip. I got it ready to go. I like to have stuff, you know, kind of ready, most of the stuff that I'm going to use. So I put about 3 drops in there. You know, this stuff is pretty thin, so you don't need to thin it. I'm going to put a little bit of thinner in there, just a little bit. Start it that way, and then let's add the paint. I don't have a formula, guys. I have consistency of milk. I said this before, you know, so you can get a nice flow to the airbrush and a good thickness for putting a base color or putting your paint down onto the figure without running or put about 7 or 8 drops in there, I think. Crappy little brush, mix it in the cup. There you go. I have to tell you that yesterday I had that class that we've been doing on Saturday, and with the Halloween theme, and it was a lot of fun. It's a little long, but a lot of fun. And I was going to start this yesterday morning, but I just have too much. I had too much stuff going on this week. You know, I'm sorry this video is coming out late, but it is what it is. You know, I got between work and family and everything. It's been a really hectic week. So, hold on a second. Get a little more light up there. There you go. All right. So, cover the whole figure, all the skins. I'm going to try to do as best as I can without me putting my hands too much on her. You know what? Let me put the base out here. So I got her somewhere to sit on if I have to get her and not touch too much of that area where I'm painting. Okay. You know what? Sorry about that. I'm going to be close in person. There you go. Just test your paint, test your airbrush. I tested before, so just start laying color. Another thing is, let me explain. I'm not going to go hyper realistic on the skin tone. I'm copying a painting, not a picture. So I'm not going to do a whole lot. I'm going to do none of those reds and yellow dyes and stuff like that. I'm basically going to go just with flesh tones this time, because I want to capture some of that that painting look, kind of. We'll see. We'll just go with the flow. But that's what I'm thinking about not doing, and probably save a little bit of time as far as the process goes. But and that's the reason why I want to do that. So you see the motion that I'm doing with the airbrush. I'm just swiggling around. And this is just a base color, guys. So start with the front. Figure what the heck. Face a little bit. Make sure you get in there into the corners and all that. Just don't stay in one area for too long. You don't want your paint to run. Alright? Just keep on moving along, you know what I mean? Just keep moving along, keep swiggling in there. Then, come back later and throw some more paint down if you have to. But don't stay in one area for too long. Just keep moving. And this is your base color. You're going to add shadows, you're going to add highlights, you're going to add, and it's all going to try to come together right at the end. Alright. So we'll start off with her. I don't know how many parts I'm going to make this video, because I got a lot of stuff going on, like I said, and I want to try to get as much done on video as I can, just so you guys can see the whole process. The primer came out great on her. I had to go back and sand down a little bit. Remember when we were doing the arms and stuff? Because it was just not, I wasn't getting a smooth seam, so I had to go back in and sand it down a little bit. But it wasn't a whole lot of work, but and you guys saw the video and you saw how much work went into trying to do that. It wasn't that bad, so it looked bad, but it wasn't hard, right? That's what I said. Don't throw your prints away if you don't like the way the seams are, whatever. You can always fix it. If you can fix it, fix it. If there's a chance of fixing it, don't throw it away. Just put a little work to it. That's all. Just don't stay in one area. Let me try to get underneath this. You want to get, like a blotch of paint in one area, or you want to get that nice smooth. She's a female. You want that smooth skin, If you overpaint, don't worry about it. This is the lighter colors. The only thing, you're gonna have dark hair and a dark fur. So if you're gonna overspray, this is the best time to overspray, because you're gonna cover that up, all this stuff up with a darker color, so it's gonna cover with no problem. All right. If you have something lighter, then I would say mask it, but I usually don't. Unless I'm doing something like that really, really light, or something that I already painted, I'll mask. But no, I usually don't mask. Put a little more color in her face. Get that neck area. I'm running out of paint, but I think I'm almost done anyway, so it doesn't matter. Make sure you get the hands, the inside of the hands, because people usually forget those areas. Okay, that's a good base right there. I think I'm going to need a little more color in the legs and on the underarm right there. I'm going to have to put more paint. And right down the side. Step back, take a look on the shoulder. I need a little bit. Right there on the inside of the arm. So take a look back and wait for it to dry a little bit. And then go back to it, see? I stand it up right there and won't have to touch her, which is great. Alright. So mix your paint again. Just throw a little form through her. 1, 2, 3. A little bit of thinner. I really put up not a whole lot of thinner in there before, guys. It's like maybe two drops of thinner. That's it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it. I like to clean the tips on those because then if you're in a hurry and the tip is dries up, won't let the paint come out. I gotta sneeze again. Yeah, so yeah, my allergies are killing me. It's been pretty bad here on the East Coast, for me. So what I'm trying to do is, I don't want to go in there. That paint that dried around the cup, I don't want to get that inside the needle. So that's why I'm going to do it this way, where you just hold the tip and just mix it in the cup that way with a little backflow. Just make sure you don't splatter on the model. Don't do it too hard. See how I'm doing it? No, I'm sorry, I'm out of focus here. So just do a little bit of time, let those bubbles die down, and then do a little more. Just get a good mix in there, okay? I'll clean the tip out just around here. Don't put it really wet, because whatever you put on your tip is going to splat right into your model. So make sure that it's damp. It's not fully all wet, So I just clean the tip off just a little bit like that, just before I start again. All right, a little dry in there. All right, that's how I do that. That's a lot better. Okay. All right, so let's keep on trying to finish this out. Got to finish off the legs a little bit. Put a little more color. don't be afraid to put paint underneath. Make sure you get good coverage, because like if your model's sitting there on the stand, and if you peek, anybody could peek underneath those toes a little bit, and they'll see gray and not pink, it's going to look like an unfinished model. So just don't be scared to put a little paint on it. Alright, just in case those edges, wherever it's standing on, doesn't show, you know, primer or unfinished product. You know what I mean? Get a nice, good, even shoulders, the arms, toes. Make sure you get inside those toes a little bit. The booty. Oops. There's little drops there. Don't be afraid to use your hands, guys. Oops. I clean something. Hold on a second. I don't want that to dry like that. If you get like little drops like that, just make sure you tap it down. Don't let it bubble, dry bubbled up, because it's going to look like, that's what it's going to look like. So you hit it down, even with your finger, tap it down a little bit, and then just clean your brush a little bit. I don't know why it's spatting out. You're just going a little too strong. You thin it down a little too much. Where is it? There it is. And that's it. See, I covered it up just a little bit with a little bit of paint. It's good. It's gone. Because if you leave that bubbled up like that, that's how it's going to dry, and then you're going to have a hard time covering it. You might even have to sand it down a little bit. You don't want to go into sanding on the finished product, you know what I mean? Don't be afraid to use your finger. I don't know why that shoulder just doesn't really want to cover up, but got it. Take a quick look. Looks good. Nice even tone. Okay. I'm gonna let that dry. I'm gonna clean my airbrush. Then I'm gonna seal her. And then I'll come back and we continue on. Okay? Alright. So I'm going to pause this and then clean the airbrush. Top coat. Don't forget, I'm using the UV resistant top coat. Alright, the matte. All right. Get yours at your local Home Depot. Alright? So I'll be back in, give me 2 minutes, I'll be right back. Alright, so I sealed her. She's ready to go. Next, I'm going to go with Shadow Flesh from Pro Acryl again. And I'm going to hit it directly from the bottom on both sides. The light is coming in from the top side from up here on the character. Alright, so what I want to do is hit the shadows directly from the bottom. And this is going to be mostly the skin shadows. And then we're still going to go into the pastels and do like all the like the muscles and all the crevices and things like that with the pastels. And then we're going to go with the mid-tone and then the highlights and all the other stuff. So, but this is mostly for like hitting it from below. We're not going to go too hard on it. I cut the reference pictures up, and he went with a very, very pale tone, which I'm not sure if that's the route that I want to go with. And I'm looking at one that a guy did a kit of. Like I said, I'm not sure who made the kit, but I don't know. I don't think it was Sideshow. But what I would like to try to do is get it more like a. Obviously, she's outdoors, and get her more like a golden color. I think that's the route that I want to go with. But I'm going to start off and I'm going to try to go light, and then at the end I'll see where we're at and maybe do like with the garage kits and give her like that little golden tone maybe. Okay, but we'll see where we go. Okay, with this. So I'm just going to use a little bit of this to hit it from underneath, and then we're going with the pastels after that. Okay, so let me get some of that on the brush. I got the air conditioner on, so I apologize. I'm going to try to bring the mic a little closer so this way maybe you guys can hear me a little better. But it's getting warm up here now, and yeah, I don't like the heat. So again, I'm going to just put a few drops. Let me get a little closer here. Got a lot going on over here, so we get a few drops of the flow improver, okay, and a couple of drops of the thinner, and then now this stuff is darker than a lot of the other stuff. I was looking maybe going with Resurrection Flesh from Scale Color for this, but I think I might want to use that for later on. So we'll see where we go. We can always adjust it a little bit if we have to. But let me start off with this. Let's go with this first. Oh boy. Okay. Put about 6 drops in there, more or less. Just have a little overspill there. There we go. Alright, so let me mix it up really good. That's a good consistency I got in there going on. Like I said, these paints come really thin, so you don't have to thin them down a whole lot. Alright, and it goes on the model really, really nice. Get a nice even color going on. So the way I'm going to do this is, again, I'm not going crazy on the trigger, just like that right there. Okay, all right, nice and light, but from a little bit far away, not too close. Okay, looks like a little schmuck in there. What is that? I don't know. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to hit it from like about that distance right there. Start off right here, and then do the other ones. All right, not too crazy, not too much. Just get a little tone in there on the undersides. Like I said, later on we're going to go and still got to do shadow in the crevices, highlights, okay, things like that. Just give it a little tone, a little difference in the tone on what you're doing. Should get under the head in there somewhere. You can tell the difference when you have it upside down and then you come up. See how it catches the bottom? So that's what you want. Alright, make sure to go through the sides. Catch those arms between the legs. Oops, got a little splatter on the booty. So I'm hitting it from far away, guys, so still getting a little splatter there. Oh shit. Alright, you can clean that up. Let me do a little cleanup here. Use a little thinner. That's how you protect your undercoat. Just because of reasons like this. Alright? This is why you do it. Remember I was explaining to you before the importance of that, because you don't want, I would be taking down off the bottom layer. And then you gotta start all over again. And you don't want to do that. Mistakes happens, things like this, okay? Easy to fix if you protected the bottom layer. Clean that booty. Looks like she got a little accident or something. I don't want to do that. Alright, so clean that off. Anywhere that you splattered. You don't want. You gotta check that airbrush. I think I went a little thin maybe on the paint. Clean it. Comes right off, just with a little bit of thinner. Okay. There you go. Not too bad. I like how the tone on her legs came out. See that? You can tell the difference. Alright. The shadow. This is just very light shadows that I'm trying to get in there. Alright, so I'm going to spray it again. Let me check my airbrush real quick. Let's make sure everything is working properly. I just got a little dirty tip on it. I think that's what the problem was. See, black glove. Here we go again. Check it. The black glove is good because it shows you where. It's not too bad. She doesn't like it. All right. Let's try it just a little bit where this is where I cleaned up, and just put a little paint back in there. Almost right there where I wanted to be. Okay. All right. I'm happy right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to seal her now again, and I'll come back, and we're going to go into the pastels. All right. So bear with me. I'll be back in. All right. So don't forget that I have pastel brushes are always kept separate. If the ones you're going to use for that, you don't want to get any paint on them or use them for paint, because you will get some of that pastel pigment on your stuff. Just try to keep them separate. Keep like some brushes separate from for using for that if you're going to use them. Or if you need to use them, just clean them very well. But you know, just try to keep a set. I don't use very expensive brushes for these. All right, I need a thin one here, and I thought I had another one. Nope. This other little one is all beat up, but maybe. All right. So I'm going to use the red oxide. Okay, and start. She's actually coming out really nice. I like the colors, the blend, the way it came out right there. All right. So obviously on the picture you're not going to see the rear because the picture is only frontal. So, but you know, this is a model. All right. So let me see something. I'm going to go with. I don't want to go too strong on this. All right. So it's going to go very light. I want to capture some of the shadows. But like I said, I don't want to go too strong on it. Alright, so start here. Then if I have to come back, I'll do that. But you know, like right now, so I'm going very light with took everything out. Blend. It's gonna cover a lot of with the when you start doing your highlights and everything. You're gonna cover up quite a bit of it. But if you have to come back again, like I said, if you have to come back again and do it again, then go ahead and do that. But you want to accentuate those shadows a little bit, not too much. Don't go too crazy because remember that the light is coming from the top front on this, and you don't want to. It's going to be coming up from the top front, like somewhere around here. So there's not a whole lot of deep shadows. So you want to go a little light, but accentuate a little bit. All right. This is a little darker. I'm going by the reference pictures, guys. So she has some nice tone in her body. So underneath this breast right here, a little darker. See, I'm trying to not to put too much. You guys can see how much I'm putting down. Then I'm going to go with the filbert brush and clean that up a little bit. Alright. Like on the picture, this side right here has a little bit more shadow. There's a lot of pictures. They're all different. Trust me. Like I said, I'm gonna wing it. Let me get another one here. Yeah. I'm just gonna wing it. And the reason why is because there are a ton of different things with different shades and different shadows, different colors, and I don't know which one is the original. So like I said, go with what you think is right. Like I'm going with what I think is right based on the picture that I'm seeing and how I portray this model and everything. So on Francetta's, I got a couple different paintings here, and one has the bra that's connected, another one has one that's this part is not connected here. Okay, so I'm picking up from two different paintings. I don't know if one is an original, the other one's a copy, or they're both originals. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. So, but like again, go with what you think is right. Where you see the skin folds, put some color in there. Go with the flow. Go with what you feel is right. As long as it looks good in the end, and you got somewhat of a. Excuse me, I've got to get a little close on this. So. I've got to get around that arm. There you go. And go with what you feel, guys. What you feel is right. Put a little more color on wherever you think it needs to go. Switch pictures. Here's the one that I was using before. I like that one better. There we go. Not gonna be exactly or anything like that. I'm just trying to at least follow a little bit, what the guy that did the model, I have a picture up there too. He did a beautiful job on that too. Look it up. Just put Franzetta Huntress on your Google search and you'll see all the stuff that comes up on this. And you'll see what I'm talking about when the difference of colors and things like that, and the little subtle difference with the bra and all that. a beautiful kit. I'm really glad that I decided to do it, and not let it sit because of all those gaps and everything. I'm really happy that I went with this, and I'm showing you guys. I'm really enjoying this a lot. This is a really pretty kit to do, and I'm glad that I did it. Sometimes when the prints don't come out right, they kind of put you off and you don't want to do it. And like I showed you guys, man, sometimes you don't have to put a whole lot of work to make it look good, you know. Just say, stuff costs money, man. You don't want to throw it out. Since the booty part in the back and all that's not on the picture, you can really go pretty much the way you feel like it needs to go. Alright? So be liberal what you want to do here and just go with the flow. I'm just going to put in the creases like under the shoulder blade. Right here, the shadows right here. Creases on their back. A little shadow right there like that. And I'm going to blend all this in with the bigger brush. Alright. Just shadow crap out of the back. Go back to the front. Let's get some of the other arms. Go a little bit thicker on that because there's a lot of shadow in there. So. Try to stick with I have a light that's coming up here right now and it's giving me the natural shadow, so I'm trying to go by that too to see how, that's why I keep on turning the figure around a little bit to see how the shadow on the light is hitting that area and creating natural shadows. So I'm trying to use that too. So just remember the position of the figure and where you want those shadows to be. It's going to naturally give me the highlights also. Alright. This bear has a little bit of a little bit of a shot. There we go. So now I need to get the neck area. It's going to be a little tricky. But right here, along the hairline, go under her eyes. Brow. Right there. Under her chin a little bit. Her bottom lip. Bottom of the nose. Clean that up. That'll get cleaned up with the paint. So I'm going to do brush work on that. Alright. Neckline. Alright, so we blend some of this stuff out. And we'll see what needs to get done again, and then we'll go back at it if we have to. See how I wipe the excess on my hand. Get rid of it out of the brush. See when you blend it, how much better it looks. Okay. Blend it in. Feel like you got to go back and put a little more, then go ahead and do that. You know, once you blend it, start blending it in. And I'm using a filbert brush for that. All right. That looks good. Look at the underarms. I'm going to put a little bit more here on the arm. Just work that a little bit right there. Get this muscle. Not a little too much. If you make a mistake and you think you put a little too much on something, the easiest way to wipe this stuff off is with a little bit of alcohol, like in a cotton swab. Just get rid of it, and just start over again. You know. Alright, so if you make a mistake, don't be afraid to use it. If you feel like you put a little too much on something, just use a little cotton swab and it'll come right off. A little alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. I like the way it's coming out, the shadows and the blending. It's looking good. And just do this right here. Go in like that a little bit. Try to get in there in between the fingers and the toes. Alright, don't forget those. Sometimes I forget them and then I have to go back and actually, instead of pastels, I gotta do paint because I already did all the highlights and everything. And try to get in there with a paintbrush and do it. It's pain. Try not to forget to do those. The inside part of the hand, you're probably not gonna see much of it because she's resting her hand on one of the tigers. So but get it anyway because you don't want somebody to see in there, you know. You don't want to show imperfections and stuff like that. Just try to just paint it. It won't cost you anything. You're there already. Alright. Go down to the knees. Calf muscle. Alright. Go too strong on that, right? We'll go to the back in a minute. Let's finish the front. The knees. Calf muscle fall right here. Alright. Back of the leg. Little curve right there. And on the other side. And then here you want to throw a little shadow in there. Start from the top. The leg is bent, so just create more natural shadow on the bottom. Get the filbert out and let's blend this in. We'll do the toes and then that's it. The feet. Feet. I want to get the curvature a little bit in there. Get those toes in between. Doesn't matter if you go over it because you're going to be spraying highlights, so the highlight's going to catch that. Alright, but try to get in between the best as you can. And get those toes a little shadow in between. So when you do the overspray on the highlights, it'll look a little more natural in there. And hopefully you won't have to go back in there and try to do it with a brush because the toes are tiny. Toes are tiny. Sorry, I got the printer going in the background, so there's a lot of noise in here. I know that. Sorry about that. And then I got the air conditioner. It's getting hot up here. So, sorry about that. All right. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go outside and spray this, and I'll be back. Okay, I think I'm happy where it is right now. Like I said, if you always have to go back later on and do it, that's fine. Go back and do it. Again, get a little bit more shadow and stuff, but I think we're good over there. I don't want to overdo it, like I said, you know, so I want to start off a little, excuse me, there we go, drop that one, give her a little bit right there. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to overspray this, and then I'm going to come back and we'll start doing like midtones and highlights and things like that. Okay, but right as of right now, where she's at, I'm really happy where she's at right now. And like I said again, if we have to come back with the pastels later on, we'll do that. If not, you know, we'll see where we're at. You always have to probably go back with shadows as far as the paintbrush and or the airbrush. So, all right. So let me pause this. Let me go spray it. I'm going to use. Don't forget, I'm going to use the one for the pastels that I use. It's the Bear chalk. Okay, for pastels. All right, and it's going to come back probably a little bit shiny, but that's okay. You're going to dull it down later on when you do the other layers, and then you're going to, you know, put the MAC coat on it. So don't worry about, if this comes out a little bit shiny. It says clear matte, but it tends to come out a little glossy. All right, but no big deal. All right, you can always put a matte coat, another different matte coat over it to just dull it down. Okay, so I'll be back in a few. All right, so don't forget to do this stuff outside when you're doing the top coat with doing a clear coat or anything. Just do it outside in a well ventilated area. You don't want to do it inside. All right, those fumes there can be pretty bad. So, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go with like a little bit of a mid-tone. So the color that I'm thinking about doing is, where is it? Here we go. I'm going to put this on a palette real quick. These two colors. I'm either going with the Harvester Flesh or the Resurrection Flesh from Scale Color. Okay. So I want to see where. Can't tell by the colors in the bottle. Obviously, I want to put them on a palette to see which one I'm going to go with. Let me share this with you guys. I want to bring this whole thing over. I got this piece of wood. That's Resurrection Flesh. And this is the Harvester Flesh. Sorry about that. Now the Harvester Flesh looks looks a little light to me. I don't know. Looks like it'll blend in too much with what I have already. I think I'm gonna go with that. Hold on a second. I think I'm gonna go with the Resurrection Flesh on that. Alright. Try to mix it a little bit in there. How about that? That's interesting. I like that color. A little more darker. Just messing around here, guys. Just trying to see what I kind of like the mixture of both right there. I don't know. I think one is too light and one is too dark, and I'm not sure if I want to go either way with those, to be honest with you. But I do like that middle color. Let's see what I come out with. I'll mix it up in the bottle, in the pot. Let's see what we come up with. What do you say? Give it a try, right? So we're gonna do a couple of drops of. Well, this I'm gonna thin down a little bit more than what I did with the Pro Acro. Because these are a little bit, they're not as thick, but a little bit thicker. Okay, so 2, 3, 4 drops of that. And let's start off with 2 drops of this stuff. Get a little mix in there. 1, 2, 3. Oh, got away. Let's see what we got. Like I said, there's no formula here. 3A printers on. There's no exact formula that I'm using here, guys. I'm just trying stuff out. You know what I mean? And the consistency of this is pretty good. Alright, let's give it a try. Not too. I'm not spraying like crazy on the whole model. I'm just going to give it like a nice overspray. Alright, and from an angle like 45 degrees. Okay, it's not a highlight, but I want to catch some of these midtones and start covering up some of these, blending in some of these shadows that I did with the pastels. Alright, so just very lightly. Still got to do highlights. And all you're doing is just blending in color. Okay. See how shiny it came out after I did that top coat with the bear? This paint is going to tone it down just a little bit. Okay. A little splatter there. Okay. Just back. Give that a break. So you're still going to be blending in some more. So don't hide all that stuff that you just did, you know. Oh, I like that. I think that's the color. I think that's the color. I really like that because you're still going to be highlighting. It might look a little dark right now, but don't forget you're going to be highlighting still. Okay, so that gives it a nice, like a nice, not a dark tan, not like a too golden of a tan, but just enough. And I didn't want to go over. I'm like giving it too much of a tan color because I'm trying to go as close as I can to the picture and to the painting. But like I said, you can be a little bit liberal because there's so much stuff out there, and I mean, this is it's such a beautiful sculpt, you know. Look at that. Look how that all blend in right there. I like where the belly area is. That looks good. There's a little bit right there. Top of her leg. Yeah. I'm sorry. Somebody's trying to reach me. I'm going to have to look at that in a minute. A lot of noise going on, guys. So sorry. And trust me when I tell you, my house is never quiet. So I think that's good, man. I think that's where I want it. A little bit on the chest right there. A bit in the face. I wish I could give you a little close up on that. Let's get a little close up here. See how the colors blend in? because like got a little light here, too much light on that because I'm coming a little higher, but okay. It's not as bright as you see it there in live. All right, because of the light reflection, you're getting that, but it's not as light as bright as you see it. Okay, I would say. That right there would be a better tone right there. Okay. So I'm going to spray this again. Wait till it dries a little bit. Spray it down with some dull coat. Now with this stuff, okay. This stuff. Spray it. Come back and do the highlights. Okay. Give it a little try. With the highlights on this stuff, we're going to go probably with Pale Skin from Scale Color. Okay. I don't want to do the olive flesh because it's got a little too much. I don't think it's bright enough for what I want. Maybe I might use it at the end. I don't know. Let me see. Hold on. Let me put some on the palette real quick again. Let's check and see here. You guys can be witness. This is it's got a little olive in it, you know. It's I don't know if it's that bright enough for what I want. This is the Pale Skin. I might have to use the Vallejo pale if I want to go any brighter. And I think that's what I'm going to have to do because this color right here is too yellow. I don't know. Well, hold on a second. This is what I might do here, guys. I might try something a little. Alright, from the Nocturna series, I got the highlight skin color. Okay, let's put it next to it. Let me focus on the color for you guys right there a little better. Now you see this one has like the olive tone. This one has a little more pinker tone to it, but I want a little bit lighter on the butt. Oh man, what the hell is that? Let me clean this up. One sec. What? What I'm thinking about doing is, yeah, see, this is a lot lighter. That color right there. You see that? Okay. Alright, so what I'm thinking about doing now is we're going to go with this color, Pale Skin, first. See where it's at. And then we'll go with the lighter color on top of it if we need it. And then we'll do pastels if we have to. Okay. Now what I'm thinking about doing is giving her a little bit of give her a little tone underneath the eyes. You know, with the purple, like we usually do with the pastels. And you know what? I might do that now before I seal it. Yeah. So that's why I have to seal twice. But you can do it. If you do it very lightly. And we're gonna do that now before I go seal it. How's that? A little change of plans. So let's do that now. I'm going to use a small brush. And I'm going to use the filbert. Make sure that's clean. Get everything out that you had in there. See, some of that red is coming out. So just brush it off on a napkin. See the red? Is that coming out? You don't want that in there. Alright? So I'm going to get the purple. I got that. Not this one. This one's too light. I I got one below this, right there, the darker one. Just give a shadow underneath the eyes. All right, so let's do that. Just be very careful. You got, don't forget, you got fresh paint on that. So just want to be careful. The paint should be dry already. So what we're gonna do is just give it a little bit of color underneath the eyes. That's it, just like that. Yeah, let me focus on that a little bit more. All right. Now once I spray the dull coat, should dull everything down a little bit more, so it won't be so shiny on the camera. So just get in there. Just get a little bit of color in there underneath the eyes. That's it. Just get a little bit. Just enough to give a little variation, that's all. Let's do the lips too with that. So this way we'll come back. Her lips on the pictures are pretty dark. On some pictures, to be honest with you. Not all of them. I've been going through some pictures here now, and I'm like trying to look to see what I have. Nope, I didn't want that. Yes, some pictures show it darker than others. This one's light. I say wing it, right? So let me put a little bit more on her lips and a little bit more under her eyes. There we go. That's good. Now, the other spray might get rid of some of it, so I went a little bit darker because I'm not using the bear. I'm going to use the other one to cover up all the paint that I did, but that's okay because I can always go back and do a little bit more later on. But I didn't want to go, so if it gets, I went a little darker, so if it gets rid of some of it, it's no big deal. But the bear is the one that you want to use for doing pastels, so don't forget that. All right, so let me go and spray this, and I'll be back in a couple. All right, so after I came back from spraying, she was standing up here, nicey nice. I turn around to do something, and yep, kapoop. Am I upset? A little bit. So thank God nothing else happened to her, so everything else is fine. Don't ask. Yeah. So it is what it is, fellas. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fix it. Go over here. Might as well learn how to do that, right? So there's another little step to the process. I'll fix it when I, once I get done painting her. I just want to get her at least the flesh tone done today. All right, so I don't want to get too upset about that. Let's just move on and continue doing what we're doing. Oh, excuse me. I believe we have a good flow going, so let's keep on going. All right, so the colors that I was going to use for this was going to be the pale flesh, and then the ultimate highlight was going to be this. And also, you can usually use pastels. I have pastels. I've done highlights with pastels too. And sometimes I will go and do pastels because I'm not too happy with the highlight after I'm done with all the other stuff. And maybe I want to accentuate certain highlights on the character or the figure or whatever, So, you can do that. There's nothing that says you can't. So, go ahead and do that. I have some lighter tones for the flesh set that comes from the Pan Pastel flesh set. I think it's like 7 or 8 colors that come in this flesh set, and they're not cheap, guys. I'm telling you right now, if you want looking to go get them, they do run sales. Amazon and a couple other sites. But you know, they range. I think the set is like 30 something bucks on. I think it's like 30 something bucks on sale when they go on sale. That's not bad. You know, like $35 when they run on sale like that. That's not a bad price. All right. So I'm gonna pause. Let me get the stuff that I need for this, and then we'll come back. All right. So let's use Pale Skin by Scale Color. We're gonna go highlight. So we're gonna go from the top. Put a couple drops of the Flow Improver. Now a little bit thinner. Start off and put your color in. Make sure you shake it well. This is stuff you should know by now. Okay. Well, these colors are so dirty. Tips. All right. So I'm gonna eyeball it, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's good. It's about 4 or 5 drops, more or less. But like I said, I don't have exact formula. I like the milk, the consistency of milk. You know, like right there. You know, just to put enough color down. Get a good flow through the airbrush. Mix it very well. I got this old brush. I'm mixing it in there in a cup. And then I check. I push it up against the side to see how it comes down. Alright, and that looks pretty good. Okay. Now the Scale Color Pale Skin has a little pinkish tone into it. Okay. I'm going to backflow it a little bit so I can get a good mix in there. Alright. Now the reason why I use this, I don't like putting nothing hard on the tip. So just, you know, press it, go nice and light. Okay. So what I was saying, this the Scale Color has a little pinkish tone to it. So don't go too strong on it because I'm still going to use another one over that. Right away, I don't know yet. Let me see where we go, where we're at once we finish. All right, but I'm going to hold my model. Let me get the base out of the way for a sec. I'm going to hold the model like that and come from the top on it. Okay. Get some on a piece of paper right there. All right, so I'm going to spray from the top, and I wanted to catch all the highlight areas on this. Okay. Now, also want to do the face a little bit, so you know I'm going to try it. I'm going to have to go in a little bit like this, but for the rest of it, just, okay, right from the top. And see how far I'm going from it? I'm not pressing too hard on the brush. There's a little splatter. Cotton swab there. You can use your finger, you can use a cotton swab. Alright. Go very lightly. Not going very hard at all. I gotta get something a little closer to this. This is gonna drive me crazy. Where'd it go? a sec. I got my airbrush holder, the regular one that I used on the other side, so that's why every time I pause I gotta reach over. So I brought this one over closer, this pot, so I can put it down right here. Alright, not too much, not too much. Don't go too crazy with this color. Like I said, you're going, just want to hit a little bit of the highlights. Okay. Right there. Little dab. What I have here, this is. Okay. I want to hit the face just a little bit more. So I'm testing on my finger real quick before I go on there, because I want to make sure that the paint is coming out okay. And the top of her legs right now. Don't forget that you're going to hit this again with the lighter color, so don't go too crazy with this. And let's see where we're at. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Alright. That's perfect right there. I like that. Alright, so now I'm going to do our back. Same way. Okay? I don't want to hit the arms too much because I already hit. I don't want to hit this arm. I want to hit but I'm going to hit the back. Okay. Make sure the paint coming out. Top of her arm. Top of the booty. Back of her leg. And switch over a little, just a little bit right there. Top of that booty. Back of her legs. Her back a little bit. Like I said, don't go too crazy with this color. Just enough. Because you're going to come over with another highlight behind this. The next highlight is going to be more, going to get closer. You're going to hit the highlights, some areas a little bit more than others. It's not going to be so much of an overspray. There you go. I like that. Let me see if I can get. There you go. She's still a little glossy. Just a little bit. But lighten that up a little bit. Just enough. Just enough. So I want to show you guys real quick. You see how that pastel, how we went a little thick on it, and look how it blended in very nicely. Let me see if I get a better focus on this from here. Okay. Look at that. And then you can tell the color changes. Okay. Color, highlight. Look at the shadows. Yeah. Okay. There's a difference. Alright. I don't think the camera's doing justice to the color, guys, to be honest with you. This looks beautiful from here. Everything is in the right place. I'm very happy the way it's coming out. Alright, except for the hair that broke. Darn it. That's okay. It happens. It happens. It has happened already, not once, and twice, a couple of times already. Stuff falls and breaks, and you gotta fix it. Might as well learn how to do it. I will teach you how to do that. I will film it. I'm really happy with the way the color's coming out. I think once I lay out the next color, it's going to need a little bit of a toner. But what I'm really thinking about doing is going in with just switching airbrush. I think I'm going to go with the Huntress Steinbeck, and we're going to use the Infinity to go in and highlight just certain areas. Okay, I want to go in really, really close and thin. Alright, so let's get to the highlight. Again, I'm going to use from the Nocturna series on the Vallejo Highlight Skin. Okay. Now this I'm going to, Vallejo usually got to thin down a little bit more than the other ones that I've been using. So, check my ring real quick, see what's out there. And put a little thinner in there. Get a good mix. I've been using a lot of this stuff, so 1, 2, 3. Start off with 3 drops. I have to add more. This stuff is pretty thick. More. That's better. Backwash. All right. So, like I said, let's hit the arm first. hit a hole up, but as you can see, it's there. The other shoulder. One second. Just want to make sure that tip is clean. It's clean, but you know, just keep on checking it. See, I'm gonna spray my hand. I want to see where that sweet spot on the trigger is before I go in there. Don't want to give it too hard of a spray. I'm getting nice and close. Just doing highlights. Okay, I have to get a little closer. So now I'm gonna hit the top of the chest on the left, on her right hand side. Let's see if I can get a little closer here. Just a little bit. Right there. On the other side. See how much paint's coming out? That's it. Now, the trigger I got it set at 18 psi. But I'm barely hitting the trigger on this, alright? So I'm going to go on the bottom. Remember what I said about the bottom of the breast? It's not exposed to the sun usually, so you want to highlight that a little bit. Alright, so now the top of her the muscle of the chest right here. One second. That's better. You gotta clean that tip once in a while, so as you're doing it like this, like I'm doing now, the tip is gonna get paint on it. It's gonna stick there. So the other side. See, I'm not doing it very hard. Just getting enough light on it. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go on towards the middle of that muscle, the ab muscle right there. Alright. Away from this corner, but like right in the middle right there. Just right there. Same thing with this side. Just like that. Right there. See that? Okay. Alright, next is going to be here on the top side and then going out towards that way. Alright, towards the hip. Just like that. Top side of that ab muscle. Nice. Same thing with the other side, but not as much. You just want to hit a little bit on that side. Alright? You're not going to want it. See, there we go. Clogged up. Pink. Yep. Alright. So hit that just a little bit here. Oops. See, there you go. Just a little bit. See the highlights? She needs a little bit more on that shoulder. Alright. I'm going to want to get in a little close here, so I'm going to make ready. I'm going to do the top of the nose a little bit. If the dilution on the paint is really good, guys, you can get really close on this stuff and really home in on Alright, let's go in the back a little bit. And we'll come back in the front. When you're gonna put the dull coat on this, it's gonna blend the paint in a little bit better. So for now, don't worry if you overdid it just a little bit too much. Just wait till you take a look at it first before you hit the panic button. All right. Arm. Vallejo colors, they do. Good thick boy. I'm gonna have to dilute it down a little bit. Just a little bit more. Shoulder blades. Arm. Just go back in there. I feel like it needs a little bit more. There we go. I think I'm gonna need to definitely use some toner on this. All right. Top of the booty. High part of the legs, guys. That's it. Front of the legs, the kneecap, just a little bit. Alright. Try to put it on camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. Put those colors in a little bit right there. Shin. That part of muscle right there needs a little bit of color right there. There you go. There you go. A little bright, right? Hopefully it'll tone down once I put the spray on it, but if it doesn't, then we'll go back in and do that toner color with the garage kits like I did before on the other kits. Alright. There you go. So you see where I went with the highlights, right? I just went just in the areas that I needed it. That's it. Alright. This looks good. Alright. So I'm going to seal this. I think I like it right where it is, right there. The back. You know, this part of the back is pushed in a little bit. Let me do a little bit of a... Hold on a second, I gotta clean this out a little bit. Put this down. I'm not getting a good spray, you know. I'm thinking about doing this just the top of the back right here, right next to the shadow. A little bit right there, not all the way down, you know, right there, not too much, just a little bit. I like that. That came out really nice. Just a little bit of toner you might need. That's it. That nose a little bit. That nose sticking out, so there we go. I like that right there. That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay. Come on, let me put this down so I can show you. Alright. Like I said, I'm going to go in there with the cheeks and I'm going to, the face, so it has to get finished painting. But let me go seal this. Okay. And then we'll add a little toner in it, just to give it that suntan look. She's been out and about hunting. Okay. And then hopefully we'll be able to finish doing the face and stuff like that. Like I said, I'll come back and fix that piece right there. It's really bugging the crap out of me, but what are you gonna do? There you go. Okay. One quick note before I go back and spray this and seal it. I'm gonna show you something real quick. what I did, and I didn't mention it before, is I set the airbrush, okay, to a certain point where you can only push so far back on that needle. All right, so I don't get too much paint come out if I go all the way back. Okay, and you can adjust that with this airbrush. You can adjust how much you want to come out of the max. How much? See here, I'm pushing all the way back on it. Okay, and that's max right there. But if you want to set your max at this minimum right here, and that's your max point, so you don't get too much of an overspray or too much paint come out all at once by accident. And like when you're doing small detail like this, you can get it in really close, and even if you push it back really, like I was doing before, when I was pushing back really hard, it wasn't coming out all at once, like a really hard spray. Even though I was doing this small, the hardest I was coming out, it was still just a little bit of paint coming out. That's what I like about this airbrush. And also it has a really fine needle, and you can get it really in there and do some detail. If I get the dilution right on the paint, I have been able to get in there and like do, not on this scale, but on larger scale, do eyeballs with it. And yeah, do the white of the eyes with an airbrush. That's how small I was able to get in there with it. That takes practice, though. I'm not saying that I'm a professional airbrush painter or anything like that. It's just it's if you take practice and you get the right dilution on the paint and everything, you can really get in there with a good airbrush. I can do it with the Soltar too. The Soltar is pretty good, but I don't have I would have to change the needle and put a finer needle in it. I don't want to. I like the Soltar. I have it set up where it's my all-around airbrush, and I can do everything with it. And if I have to get something more with a little bit more detail, I'll switch over to this one. No big deal, right? It's just this is it's a more expensive airbrush, obviously, and while I was cleaning, I thought about that, and I didn't mention because I was messing around. I took I don't know what they call it, trigger adjuster, whatever you want to call this thing right here. You push it in, and you adjust it to where you want it. You turn it, okay, and then as you're turning it, it'll give you how much pull you want on your max, and it works out pretty good because you can really get in there if you got the right dilution, the right paint, and everything. Like this one, you got to get on these Vallejo colors. You got to get the dilution down really, really right for it. I have to clean the tip off and stuff like that. But sometimes I don't even have to clean the tip if you get the right paint dilution in there. You're in there and you don't stop and you're painting, and I have been able to get into a lot of details with this stuff, but practice. That's all it takes. It takes a lot of practice to get muscle memory on your trigger and everything like that. So just like anything else. So practice on a piece of paper, doing little squigglies, getting close, getting far. You'll see how you can actually write your name with it, really fine detail and everything. Stuff, it works great, but it takes practice. So try it on a piece of paper and in different colors and different paints. All right, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks. Like I said, see, once you put the dull coat down, it'll tone it down a little bit, and I like that right there. Perfect. I don't think it needs a toner. I think I'm happy right there where it is. Right there. That's plenty. I think the toner will give it too much of a gold color, and I'm gonna have to go in there back and highlight it too much. And I think right there, she's good where she's at. Once all the other colors come in together, and she in the background and everything, I think she's gonna stick out very nicely. All right. Right now, everything looks very, but don't. You can always highlight or dim it down a little bit with the pastels if you have to. All right. You can go in there and blend some pastels in there, flesh tone pastels. If you want to tone it down a little bit, you can do that. But I think this is right there where it needs to be as far as color. It looks a little shiny because I just put the dull coat in. Let me see if I get a better focus on that. when she's next to the Panthers, I think she's going to look just right. Alright, so next, I think next is this is it for now, because I do want to fix that piece before I continue. And I'm not going to do it right now because I'm running out of time. Alright, and we're going to make this part 2. The next one is going to be part 3. We'll finish her up, fix her, finish her up, and well, you know what? Let's put some brown on her clothes. How's that? I got time to do that. I don't have time to finish the face, but I got time to do the clothing. Well, you know what? Let's just do all it next video. How's that? I don't want to commit to it and then not be able to finish it. Alright, so let's just do that. Let's just leave this one here. Okay, thanks for coming. Thanks for visiting. I hope you learned something, as usual. Okay, and keep on tuning into the channel because I got stuff coming up, man, and some really cool stuff coming up. And I don't want you guys to miss it. So keep on tuning in, you know, subscribe if you want, and hit the bell button. So this way you know when new stuff comes up. But I got some interesting things coming up for anybody who subscribes to the channel. So stay tuned for that. We're going to keep on going with this and try to finish it, you know, within a reasonable amount of time. I'm really liking where it's going. I'm excited about it. I'm not too pissed off about it that it broke right there. It is what it is. I can fix that. I'm not too pissed off about it. We can sculpt something out. Again, thank you for coming. I hope you learned something. Come back for the next episode. We're going to finish her off and start off with the other stuff. We're going to hit the saber-toothed cats, and then after that we're going to hit the base. Okay? So that's how we're going to go. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. And just keep on painting, guys. Just keep on painting and practicing, and you'll get better as you go. Thank you for coming.